The great Charles Barkley was once asked, who was the toughest player he ever had to guard? His answer, Hall of Famer Kevin McHale. I'm telling you, you kids just don't know how good Kevin McHale was. When we talk about the top power forwards to ever play the game, the same names get mentioned: Duncan, Barkley, Malone, Nowitzki, Garnett, Elvin Hayes. But there's one name that's too often left off the list. The name of a guy who routinely gave some of the greatest to ever lace him up the business. I'm talking about Kevin McHale. Forget the optics. Yes, he was gangly. Yes, he was earthbound. Yes, he came off the bench. But Kevin McHale was one of the best to ever do it. Here's why. Number one, Kevin McHale was a sensational post-up player. 6'10" and blessed with arms so long that people often joked he could tie his shoes without bending over. He had every post move in the book: the jump hook, the up and under, the reverse lay-in, the fade away. McHale was simply unstoppable on the block. So much so that in the 1986-87 season, he averaged 26 points a game while shooting 60% from the floor and 80% from the line. You know how many NBA players have averaged 20 or more points, shot 60% from the floor and 80% from the stripe in the same season? One, Kevin McHale. Think about that. NBA stat gurus are always talking about the hallowed 50, 40, 90 club, but they need to be talking about the 20, 60, 80 club because there's only one member, Kevin McHale. Think about that. Not LeBron, not Kareem, not Michael, not Duncan, not Wilt. Kevin McHale. Number two, McHale played his best ball when it mattered most, in the playoffs. His basketball resume speaks for itself. 7-time All-Star, 6-time All-Defense, first-team All-NBA in 1987, top 50 player of all time, 18 points, 7 boards for his career, and most importantly, a 3-time champion. Larry Bird put it best when he said no one can guard Kevin, especially in the playoffs. Case in point, in 1986, when the Celtics fielded one of the greatest teams in NBA history, McHale averaged nearly 26 points a game, 8.5 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks in their NBA Finals victory over the Houston Rockets. He was unstoppable on the block, shooting 57% from the floor. And by the way, he was going against 7'4" Ralph Sampson and one of the greatest defenders of all time in Hakeem Olajuwon. In the 1988 playoffs, McHale averaged more than 25 points a game, an NBA high for that season. Simply put, McHale was at his best when the stakes were at their highest. Number three, Kevin McHale was tough, gritty, and unselfish, and all of those qualities were on full display in the 1984 NBA Finals. It's June 6th of that year. Game 4, Boston, LA. The Celtics are down 2-1 and playing in the Forum, coming off a Game 3 loss where Larry Bird questioned the Celtics' toughness. Kurt Rambis gets the ball on a fast break. He's going in for a layup, and McHale levels him with a clothesline. Dirty? Sure. Today he'd be suspended for 2 weeks, but back then, that was hard-nosed basketball, and it's one of the most iconic plays in the history of the NBA Finals. The moment ignited the Celtics. They went on to gain the victory in that game and in the series. But don't sleep on Game 5. 19 points, 10 rebounds on just 8 shot attempts. Boston went on to win the series, one of the most heralded of all time, in 7 games. And McHale went on to collect his second Sixth Man of the Year award that season. McHale was obviously one of the best players in the world at that time, but his willingness to come off the bench was critical to the Celtics dynasty. As far as toughness, In 1987, when most players would have shut it down, McHale went on to play the entire postseason on a broken foot. So there you have it. 3-time champion, Hall of Famer, moves made in heaven. Now you kids know how good Kevin McHale was.